welcome to our latest edition of the Well series, where we meet women who are empowering, leading, and leveraging their experience to help out our industry or the community. And I'm very excited today to have three spectacular women joining me. I have Eileen Cowell and Davine and Caitlyn Regan, and they are joining me from Pennsylvania. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
And we have one extra little friend, that's Polar Bear, and we're going to learn a little bit more later about the importance of a polar bear and why this is coming into the picture. But first, I actually just want to jump right in and say, when I first met the three of you, there was actually more people in the room then. You had your whole family there. And we were talking about if JPAR was going to be the right fit for you. And I was so impressed by how close-knit of a family unit that you were. So you were showing up, you were looking at each other. The entire group was, reaching out to each other, and talking to each other before you'd answer questions. And I could just tell that there was a real team dynamic within your family and you were used to doing things together. And so I thought, why not delve into that with our interview today and try to get to the roots of what it was that really brought you to become this really close unit. And so I'm going to have to look at my notes here for the name of this because it's not something I'd ever heard before. But Davine, you told me that Caitlyn was diagnosed with heterotopia. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
All right. So tell me a little bit more about that diagnosis and why you feel like that was maybe one of the first most important elements of what helped you become such a strong, tight-knit family and team unit.
Well, we were always a strong family. I can tell you that much. A lot I attribute to my mom for teaching us well and helping me with raising both my kids. So there's a strong base to begin with, but heterotopia is basically, can I fast forward a little bit to tell you my story? When I was pregnant with Caitlyn, I had a lot of complications. It wasn't an easy pregnancy at all. And we were really worried. My husband at the time was in the state police and he wasn't with me. He was actually away being trained. And during that time, there was a couple of instances where I had to go to the hospital, and we were very lucky that she made it through. And in doing so, I felt like we were blessed once we had her. And from that moment on, I always had a weird feeling that something was a little off, but I wasn't positive. And everythher showed perfectly. She was beautiful. We used to call her a China doll because her skin was just flawless, and she just absolutely just had the most beautiful smile. Yeah. Her features were perfect and everything was wonderful. And I kind of got a gut punch around 9 months because at that time it was Christmas and I wanted to get Christmas photos taken. And I went to a professional photographer and he asked me to put her on the ottoman to get photos. And in doing so, I said, she's not sitting up yet. And he was like, well, is she 9 months? And I was like, yes. And he's like, she's not sitting up. And I was like, no. And so we had to do something different in order to get all of our pictures taken. But anyway, that was the first gut punch. And then she wasn't walking, she wasn't talking when she was supposed to. And then at 16 months old, she started having seizures. And that's when I took her we took her, both me and my husband, to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And that's when she got the diagnosis of heterotopia. They had told us that it is basically, and I'm going to say this in very layman's terms, is when in utero, when the cerebellum forms, from the cerebellum comes gray matter. And that gray matter forms the basics of the brain and it turns into white matter. Her gray matter stuck to her cerebellum. So she is missing quite a bit of, there's devastation throughout the brain. Her greatest area is the left posterior horn, which affects motion, balance, and speech. So with that diagnosis, the doctor had said that she will most likely never walk or talk. And then he said, and if you want the bad news, and I was like, are you kidding me? That's not the bad news. It's genetic. And at that time I was pregnant with our son, and he said there's a 60% chance that he has it, since you already had a child. So I'm getting emotional.
Oh, it does.
I
It is. It is. And I've got to say, I'll just intervene here real quick and let you touch a moment. But Caitlyn, you started off, it sounds like, being sticky, and you're still sticky because your face stuck in my mind from the first time I met you. And I was so excited to meet you when you came to Orlando for our owner mastermind in person. Because I did too. I had an absolute blast with you. So what I heard is from the very get-go, you were sticky. And I think we're going to hear a little bit about how determined you are as well. And I can see that you got that from your mom and your grandma. But tell me a little bit more, Davine. I'm sorry, I didn't want to, if I give you a minute there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yes, the doctor said that there was a 60% chance that our son, who I was pregnant with about 3 months into the pregnancy, also had it. So we had to do genetic testing, and we were blessed in the fact that neither Jim or myself carried the gene, and therefore Seamus did not carry the gene, and she was just a lottery. She just hit the lottery. It was like I don't even know the numbers, but it was a long shot. So having that told to us, we're like kind of jokingly saying, is there any good news? If that's the bad news, is there any good news with this? And he said, yes, that heterotopia is what it is. And that's just what it is. It's not a degenerative disease, which is going to cause any long-term problems. It just is what it is. So that's the good news. But the brain is amazing, and it can compensate for itself. And he advised us stimulate, stimulate, stimulate. And that's really where everything kind of starts for us, as far as becoming so close. We were always close, but that's really where it started.
Because it became a team effort. And I think you told me earlier that you were in real estate, but you left real estate to care for your daughter. And then here you are back into it. So to fill in the gaps, because we've had this full circle, but I know a lot has happened in the interim.
So when I got the diagnosis and I heard those words, stimulate, 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 I turned to my mom, and she has always been my support. And I said, I am leaving. We were a team at a new construction site, and we worked it together. And I was like, I have to go forward with trying to do the best I can for Caitlyn. And with that, we did OT, PT, speech,
Aquarian,
behavior therapy, equestrian therapy. I mean, everything I could get my hands on. And honestly, it was more than just what the insurance was providing. If I could get three sessions of speech in a week, I was doing it. If I could get 2 sessions of OT, we had coming to our houses. I had new students practicing at the homes on like anything and everything. And progression was long. It was hard. It was sometimes backwards. And with the seizures, a lot of times she stopped breathing, and then again we would lose a lot of our momentum going forward with our progress. So that was always a scary thing when she had a seizure, because it was almost always a step back. But we got there, and I owe it all to Katie, because she put the hard work in.
Yeah.
You did it.
Thank you.
You did everything. We brought the therapist, but she did the work.
It was.
So without her wanting to do it and without her willing to do it,
Mm.
she would not be walking and she wouldn't be talking. Now, granted, we're not perfect and it's not a perfect communication, and it's been a long communication. We started with a picture system, then we went to an augmentative device, to sign language, to just trying to form sentences and one word answers. So it's been long. But
I
That's
want to say something.
determination. That's incredible. Go ahead, Eileen.
One time when we were at CHOP, she took her first steps
she walked
in the hall
in the hospital.
and said her first word. And her first word was Gigi. That's me.
Oh, that's incredible. How special. I grew up with my grandparents, my grandma next door and my grandpa just up the road. And I have always said that the most blessed children in the world are the ones who can have grandparents around them. And so, I think that's one of the things I love about the real estate industry is that it provides us the flexibility as parents when we need to step in and show up and take care of the crazy curveballs and beautiful opportunities that life sends us, that we can really invest the time and enjoy those moments. And it's so inspiring for me to hear, about how you both came together in your partnership, in your business, and then adjusted. That's a big part of everything we're dealing with in the world right now, right? Is change and adjusting and resiliency. And it sounds like you've had a guide helping you really learn about, sometimes you roll with it, but you just keep showing up. I am extremely grateful to Caitlyn because I don't know that, maybe I'd like to think that you would be with JPAR whether Caitlyn was here or not, but I hear that, she had a little extra sway in the decision-making process because we mentioned in one of our early calls before you'd even signed your agreements that we were talking about doing our owner mastermind in Orlando by Disney World. And that was the exact response that we got then. And I think Eileen, you'd mentioned that, yeah.
What did you say? What did you do?
Hi.
You put your hand up and what did you say?
Orlando.
And then what did you say?
Give me one.
Can I come?
Can you go?
Can I come?
Yeah.
That's right. And you did come. And I think that you helped sort of strong arm them into making the decision to join us because you weren't going to miss out on that, were you?
Neither were we though, Laura.
So Eileen, what does it mean to you I know at our last event, which was just last month, you weren't able to make it, but you had the rest of some of the rest of your family come. I got to meet Seamus this time. What does it mean to you now to be at this place where you have your family back into real estate and able to do this all together?
First of all, the first word that I can come up with is gratitude. I'm just so appreciative of my family, and we do work together, and we do,
we butt heads.
We don't always agree, but we agree to disagree.
Yes.
And I'm very, very excited to have Seamus joining us soon. He's going to be graduating very soon. And he's very excited about coming on board, and it just makes me feel good. My husband and I started a real estate business more years ago than I want to admit. And it's always been a good business for us. Things have changed quite a bit since we started, naturally, but we've always met the challenges. And we're looking forward to meeting the challenges together now. And I am so grateful for Jim, who, is just he's our mastermind, so to speak. And he's very helpful. My husband is taking it a little bit easier these days.
Dr. Mo?
But we're doing it all together, and we're all very excited to welcome Shay, because I think he's going to be a total dynamo in the business. So Katie helps a lot at the office. She
Yeah.
comes in frequently.
Yeah.
We work together. She does a lot of, a lot of things. Anything that we ask her to do, I just pointed out to her. I mean, and she does it. And it's just amazing to me, because I went through this whole thing, and what she's able to do now is just a blessing.
So Katie, what do you think of working with your mom and your grandma?
Good hard work.
She gets
Work.
homework.
Yeah.
But she's good at
They
it.
tried it. I had tried it.
Yeah, she makes sure the hand sanitizer is always stocked in the office at all times.
So Caitlyn, you're helping out at the office, but you're also doing other things. And I saw on Facebook that recently you helped fundraise for a polar plunge for
the special.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Maybe.
maybe one of you can tell me a little bit more about what that fundraiser was for, and what Caitlyn did, and how you all helped to support.
So throughout the course of life, one of the downfalls of kind of having special needs is I wanted her to be inclusive in the classroom. And that was sometimes challenging because she wasn't able to do some of the tasks or some of the things or learn at the level of some of the other kids. And I felt that sports would be a good outlet to provide her some self-worth and some goal setting, and to just kind of focus in on all the qualities a team or an athletics would make. So we started participating in Special Olympics, I'm going to say at 5 years old. And she has done track and field, she has done gymnastics, she has done swimming, she has done basketball, she has done, I'm sure I'm forgetting some, floor hockey. We talked about bowling, yes. We talked about doing skiing because she skis with us occasionally, but we haven't done that one yet. But she's really immersed into Special Olympics. And about 10 years ago, they opened up the polar bear plunge in our area. And that's when me and my husband really got determined to give back to that program. And he was doing it down at the Jersey Shore prior to our area, but we weren't as committed until we had it in our backyard. And that's when we just started off as a team of two. It was him and his sister. I was never the adventurous one to jump in the cold water, so I give him all the credit, but I would help in the fundraising. So I was supportive in that way, but I was not going in the water. And so for the last 10 years, I'm going to say we've been the #1 team at least 80% of the time.
Wow, that's incredible.
We've almost always hit our goal. I think except for 1 year, and that was during COVID. So we did not have a actual polar plunge that year. It was a virtual. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But this year we came in second as a team, and we had 34 plungers, and we exceeded our goal.
So who all from the family did the icy plunge?
Jim and Seamus.
That's the best part of having a team, right? Is each
We're
one
close, not crazy.
I love that.
Do you see? Can you see?
I
Caitlyn?
can see, yeah, it says Team Caitlyn, and that,
Yeah. We give out shirts we did give out shirts every year for all of our plungers. This year we made beach towels, and we added our JPAR logo to the towel. So
we are so blessed and pleased that we get to be your partners in this next phase of your business growth, but getting to know you as individuals over the past few masterminds and all of our multiple Zoom sessions has just been even more of a blessing. I'm so inspired by how your family sticks together and supports each other, and your candor and humor are such wonderful additions. And Caitlyn, thank you so much for first inspiring your family on how to be tough and resilient, and then now showing up and inspiring me and all of the other people that will be watching this interview. We're just really, really blessed to have you. And
I too.
Say thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Too.
Yeah.
thank you too. Well, ladies, look
Say
forward
one
to, yeah, please go ahead.
Interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt.
Not at all.
But with the polar plunge, I just wanted to also thank not only my parents and my husband, and there's just so many people to thank in that. And we had a lot of support with Jimmy's coworkers at the state police. We had people within the mortgage industry, and people that work at our JPAR office, and friends and family galore, neighbors. So there's more to it than just us. That's what I wanted to basically sum it up.
When we say that JPAR is made up of influential industry leaders, the key word in that is influential. And what you are doing is influencing by sharing your story and making time for interviews like this and spending time talking to people about it. You're influencing others to know that there are great programs out there like Special Olympics, and encouraging them to show up and participate. So thank you for your work you do in that. Really appreciate it.
I had one more thing.
Yeah, please. This is your time. This is.
And she's usually not talkative.
I'm not. I'm very quiet, actually. But one of the reasons too, other than Caitlyn participating in Special Olympics, that I have a soft spot, because I kind of feel like my why has changed over the years. To originally it was giving back because she participated, to once she graduated high school at 21, so many services for our children in the special needs community disappear. And Special Olympics is open to people who want to participate from any age. So it doesn't end at 21. It's a 5-year or 55 years of age can participate, as long as the want is there. And that's something really unique to them. And you don't find that too often.
And we'll send you a picture, Laura, of her playing softball.
I would
For the
love that.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Soon.
My uncle participated in Special Olympics up until I think 40s. He started to get where he physically couldn't anymore, but it was one of the things that he was most passionate about, and one of the areas where he definitely felt the most successful and like part of a real community that he got super excited about. And so it touches my heart to see families like yours that are helping keep that opportunity available for so many wonderful, talented people that need to go out and have a place where they can show up for each other and make new friends, and show off all their hard work that has went into getting to the point where they can participate in these things. So really, really thankful for you and what you're doing. And thank you for making the time to connect with me today and share your story. And I hope that it's inspirational to other women leaders who are out there and trying to think of ways that they can empower and give back. And we've got a couple more options to consider now.
Yeah.
And we're equally grateful for you, Laura. Thank you. And the
Thank you.
JPAR family.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous, ladies.
Bye.
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 Uh,